Hey folks, I'm back with another tier list. That's right, it's Tuesday, so that means it's a tier list. Today we have a little spookiness coming in. You can tell by the fonts because I picked the scariest font I have. Anyway, today we're doing horror-themed spooky games. Games from BGG within the horror category. And once again, I'm bringing out 10 games I've played and 1 I have not played. You're going to disagree with this, but that's okay because opinions are never wrong. We're going to look at Betrayal at House on the Hill, Nyctophobia, Betrayal at House on the Hill again. This is the Widow's Walk. It's worth mentioning separately. Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, the one I haven't played, Chaos in the Old World, because in the Eric Lang video I made for the tier list, everybody got on my case that Chaos in the Old World wasn't on there. Well, guess what? It's on here, and I still haven't played it. Dead of Winter. I considered putting Long Night Dead of Winter in here as well, but I think I'll cover it just covering the base game. Mysterium, Ghost Stories, Zombicide, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and Mythos Tales. All of these games have the potential of making you spooked. So this time, the S means spooked. Alright, we're just going to go at it from left to right, top to bottom. Let's start with Betrayal at House on the Hill. This is a game that's recently gotten the Legacy treatment, and although I didn't put the Legacy game on here, I really enjoyed the Legacy game. This is a game that's been through a few editions, so it's been worth reprinting because this game is a ton of fun. Now, I can't stand behind all 50 different scenarios that are in the box, but most of the time you're gonna have a blast. I love Betrayal at House on the Hill. You know what? I really like Betrayal at Baldur's Gate even more, but it's not a horror themed game. But Betrayal at House on the Hill, it's a solid game. I really like it. I'm leaning towards an A on this one. Now I know this game could have some problems, but I think it's deserving of an A tier. You know what, actually? A B game could still be really fun. And Betrayal Legacy, maybe I'd put at A or S. And Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, I'd put it probably an A. So I think I do need to drop it down to a B. It's a fun game though. Next up we have Nyctophobia Vampire Encounter. This is a fun, unique game that I think really puts the spookiness more than any other game on this list because you cannot see when you play this game. Now it puts a lot of weight on the DM person or the murderer person to really sell this game. If you have someone running the murderer character that's not willing to spook out the other people at the table, maybe you're not going to have a great time with this game. But just having your eyes covered, it can mess with your head. Now, if we're talking about this game as a game, I don't know, it's more of an experience. It's not a game you put on the table and say, I think I'm going to do better this time. Yeah, maybe you talk with your crew, your group, and you say, here's some things we learned from last time. I think we can do a better job. But really, you're there to have fun. You're not going in playing a strategy game. This is a game I still own. I am ranking the Vampire Encounter specifically. I've yet to play the Hunter's version, so I'm somewhere in between here. The only issue I have with this game is that I only bring it out during Halloween time, which I guess isn't really an issue. It's just, it fits the Halloween theme well. And although we're doing Halloween games, horror-themed games right now, I'm not building this tier list based on its ability to scare you. It's just based on my enjoyability as a game. So I think I'm going to have to put it on the D tier. I got to put it down there because of the lack of strategy. I'm a very heavy strategy game player. And I also have to put it there because it doesn't come out as much as I think it should. But if you're into innovative games, you got to give Nyctophobia a try. Next up, we got Betrayal at House on the Hill, A Widow's Walk. I wish this game would just walk right out the door. This game infected my Betrayal at House on the Hill. I gotta separate it all just to get it back to standards. And my first experience with the game, it was fun. We had this like cube mechanism going on where the rooms were moving around. And for the first time I can recall, the trader stayed in the room and everyone else left. That was the last time we had a good time with the Widow's Walk. Ever since then, I've been seeing nothing but duds. And also the components in the box aren't very good. I want to say they feel thinner. If that's possible, because Betrayal at House on the Hill already has thin pieces. But Widow's Walk just... I didn't like it as an expansion, so I gotta throw this in the E tier. It's almost an F, but I'm sure you can dig out a few good scenarios out of this box. Maybe. Next up, we have Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. This is the one where you use an iPad. It replaces the player that had to run the game before. Ooh, imagine that for Nyctophobia, an iPad running the game. I don't think that would work very well. Maybe it was Siri. Siri, play Nyctophobia. Anyway, Mansions of Madness is a great game. I love how it tells a story. And they're still coming out with lots and lots of content for this game. I have so much content for this game, I can't fit it all in the box. I've got pieces scattered around the house. I got cards in the closet. I got minis in another room. It's just a lot of game and a lot of places in my house. So it does have a few things going against it. With all the different components in the game, every time you need to look for something, it's really hard to find. Everyone's looking for it together. So with everyone looking for these things together, it actually not so bad. This game is S tier. Spooky tier. We're going up here. If you don't agree with that, I would love to know why. Alright, so we came across Chaos in the Old World, a game I have not played. This is an Eric Lang game from Fantasy Flight. This is one of his older titles, and a lot of people were telling me during the Eric Lang tier list that Chaos in the Old World is his best game. So I don't need to do a lot of research on this. I already know a lot about this game. I really like the art that's in the box. And on the board has the skin board. So this game is high on my list. I want to play this game. So I'm going to have to put this really quickly at a B tier. Could I put a game I haven't played at the A tier? No. Next up, we got Dead of Winter from Plaid Hat Games. This is a Crossroads game. I'll get into that in a second. But this game is a game that had so much hype on social media coming out. I think it even changed the landscape of the way we talk about games online. The art in this game is great. The storytelling's pretty good. But the Crossroads cards aren't really revolutionary. It's a deck of cards that you pass around the table and the person next to you reads it if you do a thing. It's not a huge step in evolution. And Dead of Winter, I feel, has gotten worse as more expansions have come out. The base game is the game I play. The Long Night's alright. I haven't heard enough good things about the Dead of Winter expansions to play them or get them. If I'm making a fatal mistake with that, just tell me in the comments. But I have to judge this on Dead of Winter, the base game. And what do I think about Dead of Winter, the base game? I do like it. I'm one of those people that like it. I know there's a ton of people that don't. One of the things I like about Dead of Winter is the story around the game that isn't actually being said, but that's being created by the players at the table. And if you aren't playing with people at the table who like to make up stories when you're playing a story game, get some people that tell stories. We'll have stories about the deaths of these players, about the lives of these players, all beyond the Crossroads cards. Dead of Winter, I'm really leaning towards A category here. This is a good game. But once again, I said good game. I didn't say great game. Dead of Winter, I think, is going to hold its spot in the B category. Next up, we have Mysterium. This is a game where someone's playing a spirit or a ghost. And the other players are psychics or something like that. And they're talking to the ghost, or not really talking, but the ghost is sending signals through pictures, like index card size art, trying to get them to figure out who killed the ghost. So I played this game many times, only some as the ghost, but usually as a psychic. We're talking specifically about the version that came to us in English. And there's some parts that have been added that I don't like. Now you could just play without them, which I'm going to go over house rules in a game later. But is that the way you want to play games? Not me. So, Mysterium, given its flaws and given its dependability on having a good spirit, it's a D game for me. Yeah. Next up, we have Ghost Stories, a game that has left my collection. Now, I know people love this game, but this game has a strange theme. You're ninjas and you're fighting spirits, ghosts, whatever. It's on a 3x3 grid. It's not very immersive, I will say that. And the whole game is you're rolling dice. You're playing the odds here. And when it comes to dice games, I think a lot of other games do it better. Yeah, you don't have that theme of ghosts and ninjas, but it's a loose theme to begin with. So give me like a Vegas theme any day, but make me a good dice game. I know you're yelling at your screen. You hate that. But I've tried. I've given this game so many chances to be good for me, and it's just not a good game for me. So, I will say I do like the art. Do I want to put it in an F tier? No, because I am willing to give it another shot with people that are experienced with this game that can tell me, here's all the things you were doing wrong. I'm going to put it on the E tier. Next up, we have Zombicide, another game that has left my collection, but for maybe different reasons. And this game has a critical error in the rules. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to talk about house rules. This is a game that needs house rules. Or, now that they have so many Zombicide editions, just play with one of those adapted rules. I don't know how it works. I don't have the game anymore. Zombicide, for what it was, it just didn't scratch the itch of having the dudes on the map in a way that I was pleased with. Especially, we were playing with the rules as written. And I know it has kind of a messed up ranged rule. Everyone I've told that about has said, oh, just change it. I'm going to play the game you presented me the way you intended. I'm not going to treat this Zombicide as if I've given it some house rules or changed the rules. I'm going to place it where it belongs based on the rules in the box and the way I feel about it, of course. And once again, this is a game I would be willing to try again. I have more hope for it, though, than Ghost Stories. So I'm going to put it on D tier. I would try this again. Actually, I wouldn't mind trying one of the newer ones, because I haven't done that yet, because of the bad taste in my mouth left from the first one. Next up, we have One Night Ultimate Werewolf. This is a quick little game, and there's lots of games like it. You probably heard of One Night. You probably heard of Werewords. You probably heard of Ultimate Werewolf. But this One Night Ultimate Werewolf is a quick little game where everybody just stays asleep for one night, and you figure out who the werewolf is, or if you're a werewolf, try not to be figured out. This game still hits the table, not as much though, ever since Werewords came out. For my group, Werewords scratches the werewolf itch. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is still a good game though. I think it's a game worth bringing to a game night because it doesn't take up a lot of real estate in your backpack. Now, for those of you that don't like social deduction, this isn't going to change your mind. You're not going to like it. It's a game where you're trying to stay hidden from everybody. But for me, I do enjoy social deduction. And I would put this game lower than Werewords, higher than Ultimate Werewolf. And so I'm going to put this game right at a... I enjoy this game still. It's going on B. Look at this. This is interesting. Betrayal at House on the Hill. Certainly a B. I really enjoy it. Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter is close to a C. Chaos in the Old World, I'm basing it just on the hype and basing it just on the art. And Eric Lang games, I'm always willing to give a try. One Night Ultimate Werewolf, I stand by the B. This is interesting because the A bracket, C bracket, and F bracket are empty. This is spooky. Finally, we have Mythos Tales. This is a game very similar to Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, and very similar to all the other storytelling games where it's really just a book and you're trying to figure things out. Very much like, what is that, Chronicles of Crime, detective, everything along those lines. But this takes it to Arkham and makes it a Cthulhu Lovecraftian story. Mythos Tales was a better one for me because I just prefer the theme being supernatural. The biggest complaints people had about Mythos Tales was from a production point of view. Not many complaints about everything else in the story. And those things have been fixed, and Gray Fox Games is coming out with a new version soon. I enjoyed it, but I'm not eager to get it out on the table again. You'll see a lot on twitch.tv/heartboardgames where we play Detective, we play Chronicles of Crime, and those games never really worked for my group. So Mythos Tales for me, I'm going to drop it to a C level for me. For you, maybe A tier, B tier, all of these are opinions. Where would these games rank for you? Because this is the final list. This is our horror theme list, except no substitutes. So tell me where you rank these 11 horror themed games. Tell me which ones you would have thrown in there and where they would rank. And my name is Jesse, and until next time, the box is closed.